Welcome to our training, Communicating Across Cultures, a training for global teams. As our workplaces become increasingly global and remote, cross-cultural communication isn't just a nice to have, it's a vital skill. The purpose of this training is to equip team members with the tools to communicate more effectively across cultural boundaries. By doing so, we aim to reduce misunderstandings, build trust, and support higher performing, more inclusive teams. Whether you're collaborating with international colleagues, managing global stakeholders, or onboarding employees from diverse backgrounds, knowing how to navigate cultural communication differences is essential. This training also helps organizations strengthen their commitment to diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging by fostering an environment where people from all backgrounds feel heard, respected, and empowered. Our training is grounded in well-established cross-cultural and communication theories that help us understand the root of communication challenges and provide tools for navigating them. We begin with Hofstede's cultural dimensions theory, which explains how national cultures vary along axes like individualism versus collectivism or power distance. This helps us recognize how cultural values influence expectations at work. Next, we draw on Edward Hall's concept of high context and low context communication. High context cultures rely heavily on implicit communication and shared understanding, while low context cultures prioritize directness. Recognizing these styles is critical to avoiding misinterpretation. We also incorporate Deirdre's intellectual competence model, which emphasizes the importance of attitudes like curiosity and respect, along with the skills and knowledge needed for effective intercultural engagement. Finally, we include Daniel Goldman's emotional intelligence framework. EQ supports empathy and adaptability, two essential traits for effective communication across cultures. Together, these theories not only inform our content, but also help shape the activities and strategies that we'll use throughout this training.
There are several contexts in which we propose to use this training in, some of which can be multinational companies that employ those from multiple different countries. They can be in the case of mergers and acquisitions that involve companies from different diverse cultural backgrounds, as well as remote and hybrid teams that might have people working both across cultures as well as time zones. Next will be the goals that our training will achieve. We will be using SMART goals with this, so specifically the training will improve cross-cultural communication competence for employees. The way to make it measurable is we want to have 80 or more % of employees to show increased cultural competence as well as awareness and pre and post training assessments. Achievable, this will happen over 2-day sessions or 2 days with 3-hour sessions. So this is achievable in 2 standard work days. Relevance, this training very closely aligns with the organization's desire to expand globally, and time bound, the outcomes of this training will be evaluated with post-training assessments 4 weeks after the training is held.
Hello everyone. Today, I'm excited to walk you through how our cross-cultural communication training is designed to help participants develop meaningful skills and awareness for working effectively across cultures. Our training is crafted thoughtfully around 5 key areas. First, we begin with self-awareness exercises. Before you can truly understand or engage effectively with someone from a different culture, you need to understand your own culture, background, and communication style. We ask participants to reflect on their personal values, beliefs, and typical ways of communicating. This reflection helps uncover unconscious attitudes and biases that shape how they interpret others and how others might interpret them. This step is critical and based on Deirdre's intercultural competence model, which highlights that self-awareness is the foundation for any successful intercultural interaction. Next, we introduce an important cultural framework that participants will gain perspective to understand differences between cultures. Hofstede's cultural dimensions teach us about variations in things like how much power distance people accept or how individualistic versus collectivist culture is. Hall's model of high and low context communication explains how some cultures speak very direct, while others communicate more indirectly through context or nonverbal cues. Instead of just explaining these theories, we bring them to life through real-world examples and interactive exercises. This activity creates a safe environment to experience firsthand the potential misunderstandings and frustrations that arise from these differences. Afterwards, we'll lead a reflective discussion where participants talk about what they felt, what was challenging, and how they might use these strategies like mindful questioning or active listening to bridge some gaps. Beyond understanding concepts, it is essential to practice skills. We design simulations and role plays that focus on building emotional intelligence, empathy, and adaptability, which Daniel Goleman identifies as crucial for effective cross-cultural communication. These exercises allow participants to practice adjusting their communication style, receiving feedback, and developing confidence in handling real workplace situations. Collaboration is key. In small groups, participants analyze real-world workplace scenarios involving cultural misunderstandings and conflicts. This collaborative problem solving helps them apply their knowledge and skills in team settings, much like what happens in global or diverse work environments. It also nurtures cultural empathy and teamwork, which is critical for leadership and effective contribution in diverse workplaces. Finally, to make sure the learning lasts beyond the training room, each participant creates a personalized action plan. This plan outlines specific, achievable goals for applying what they've learned into their daily work. To support ongoing growth, they pair with an accountability partner. Their partner will help keep them motivated and on track. This follow-up step is what helps translate awareness and skills into real, lasting behavior change. Now let's move on to how it's being done. Let me share with you how these components will come to life during our training sessions. We start by guiding participants through self-reflection using journals, prompts, and questionnaires. This quiet reflection time is designed to help everyone take stock of their cultural identities and communication preferences. It might feel simple, but it's a powerful way to build insight and prepare participants for more interactive parts of the training. Then we move into an engaging role play exercise based on Hall's communication styles. Imagine one person communicating very clearly, very literally, while another relies heavily on context cues and body language. This gives participants a chance to experience the challenges and nuances of different communication approaches in low-pressure settings. Afterwards, we facilitate a group discussion to explore what feelings came up and how participants can use active listening and mindful questioning to avoid misunderstandings in the future. Skill practice comes next. Participants try out these new strategies in a simulated workplace interaction. They receive constructive feedback to fine-tune their empathy and adaptability. This practice helps them move beyond theory and develop real confidence. We will then break into small groups to tackle real case studies. These cases involve common cross-cultural conflicts and require the team to apply what they've learned, combining knowledge, communication skills, and respectful attitudes to find solutions. This not only reinforces learning, but also builds teamwork skills relevant to diverse workplace environments. The training wraps up with the creation of action plans, which are tailored to each participant's role and experiences. They identify specific behaviors they want to develop and set timeline for achieving them. Partners are assigned to keep each other accountable, which increases the chances these changes stick. This structured approach ensures that participants not only learn about cross-cultural differences, but feel confident and motivated to apply their new skills every day.
This training is being provided for you through Zoom. You will need to be in a quiet office or room space. Please make sure you have stable Wi-Fi and your devices are plugged in at all times. The training facilitators will use the following materials in order to make this training possible: notebook, pen or pencils, whiteboard, dry erase markers, Wi-Fi, laptop, headset, microphone, projector, activity handouts, and slide deck.
Next, we will be reviewing the evaluation portion of the training program. I want to begin by emphasizing the importance of the evaluation process, not just for this training, but for any training. Regardless of what training we are taking part in, the most valuable component to the instructor is the information that lets us know if the training was successful. This allows us to make adjustments to the program to ensure the course is engaging and effective in changing the trainee's performance. Specifically for today's training, our increasing globalized work environment, the ability to communicate effectively across various cultural boundaries is essential. The goal of our training is to provide our team members with the skills that will allow them to create a collaborative environment, build trust, and ultimately increase productivity across international teams. Our evaluation plan is designed to measure the success of the training in a few key areas: knowledge gains, attitude shifts, skill development, behavioral changes, and overall team dynamics. With our overall goal being to ensure that the training not only provides information, but also translates to day-to-day workplace and team interactions. Now that we know what we're going to try to be achieving in the evaluation process, let's dive into the components of the process. Here are the criteria and metrics we are going to use to determine the level of success of our training. First, knowledge acquisition. We want to see how well participants understand the material we provided. Things like cultural framework, Hofstede's dimensions, Hall's communication styles. This is something we can obtain by giving both pre and post-training quizzes. That way we can establish our baseline and measure improvement. Next is going to be attitudinal change. Did the trainees shift their openness, empathy, and adaptability? By them participating in self-assessments and guided journaling, we can gain insight to their attitudes and perceptions. Third is going to be skill development, the ability to adapt communication styles, practice active listening, and manage cross-cultural interactions. Observing the training, simulations, and feedback during role-playing will provide us with a good review of their development in these areas. Fourth, we will focus on behavioral application. Did the trainees utilize strategies we provided in the training scenarios? Reviewing their action plans, peer accountability checks, and feedback will allow us to obtain a good understanding of their retention levels in this area. Lastly, we want to ensure we had a positive impact on team dynamics. By using a 360 survey, team performance evaluations, and interviewing team members, we will be able to paint a picture that details the team's collaboration, trust, and overall productivity. A true evaluation process is much more than a post-course survey. It is a process that must begin prior to the training and be revisited several times after the training, sometimes a year or more afterwards, to capture the true effectiveness of the training.